I was young, naive, and curious when I first stumbled upon Craigslist. The personal section intrigued me and I responded to an ad. As we texted back and forth, I agreed to meet her at a Red Roof Inn. Having never used Craigslist before, I didn't think anything of it. When she asked for donations, I assumed it was optional and didn't ask for the price. Ignorance had its consequences, as usual. One day, I left my home for my GED class, but instead headed towards the hotel. It was pouring rain that day, so by the time I arrived at the Red Roof Inn, I was all drenched and sweaty. When she answered the door in revealing attire, my instincts told me that something wasn't right, but being young and foolish, I ignored them. She invited me inside. The room's decor was plain, but that was the least of my concerns. No artwork adorned the chipped drywall, and the room smelled of lingering cigarette smoke and cheap expired air freshener. The Red Roof Inn was nothing spectacular. I had stayed here before, but it was my first time booking this room. She was attractive, but had an impatient look, like she was bothered by something. Her hair was a mess, and she made me feel uneasy as she spoke. I asked to take a shower. While I undressed in the bathroom, she began to disrobe as well. In an attempt to reassure her that my stay would be brief, I told her that it was all right and that I wouldn't take long. She wasn't skinny but neither obese. Her body showed signs of wear, but the damage was minuscule and only served to make her more alluring. So she plopped down onto the bed and turned on Steve Wilkos while I went to take a shower. Once I exited the bathroom, I asked her if she was ready. Spread out across the bed, she nonchalantly informed me donations were due at the front desk. It was then the red flags went off. As I realized the type of business this was, my face dropped as my gaze shifted from her to the TV. Nervously, I explained that I didn't have any money. That's when she erupted into a screaming fit, throwing my clothes and bag at me. When it had subsided, I quickly got dressed and apologized for wasting her time before fleeing the room and heading back to class. But before I could make it out of the parking lot, a guy in a green Volkswagen Bug called me over to him. He looked really sketchy, so I initially tried to ignore him until he shouted my name. As I cautiously walked up to his driver's side window, he began talking with one arm draped upon his door and his other arm hidden by his side. It was only then that I noticed he was holding a pistol. He sternly asked why I had come here, knowing that I didn't have any money. I tried to explain my situation as calmly as possible, but all he did was raise his arm slightly higher to show me the gun. The man with the gun lowered it and said to me, "You're lucky you came to one of my girls. Other girls would have stabbed you with a broken crack pipe. You seem young, so I'll give you a warning this time." Though I was relieved, I still kept looking back over my shoulder to make sure I wasn't about to get shot from behind. Needless to say, I never met up with anyone from Craigslist again.